Betty, bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
Everyone! I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
No one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle.
You can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Lord, you can imagine where it goes from here.
Hello and welcome to Zedos Gang, episode number 32. Hi guys, I'm back from my trip from the States. Joe, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How was America?
It was great, man. I didn't get shot. No, it was good. It was really good.
Where did you go?
I went to Falls Church, Virginia, visit my grandma. I just chilled there. I didn't do any sightseeing and stuff because I've been there about a billion times. So just chilled with my nan.
Okay. With everything that's going on, what was the atmosphere like there?
It was good.
Yeah? Was it cold?
No, it was hot. It was damn hot. It was like 50, 60 degrees hot.
Holy cow.
Yeah, holy cow indeed.
Yeah, I don't think I could take it there.
I didn't want to come back. Sorry, I love the
Why
heat.
did you?
I love the heat. Well, you know, money and work.
Alright guys, this is where we do the trailers, so it's going to be a little bit of a weird one because I didn't do a show last week, so I'm going to cover one of the trailers that I didn't cover last week. It's being a Star Wars Rogue One, and so we'll start off with the first trailer, which is Resident Evil, the final chapter. This is not it. Do excuse me. Here we go. This is turd. This is absolute turd. Flying dragons. Mila Jovovich somehow found that there's still makeup in this post-apocalyptic world. She's got lipstick on. She looks fairly good for someone that where there's no shops or things to purchase kind of beautician stuff from. So, I don't know what this film's about, and I don't care because it's definitely not about Resident Evil. It's about this person called Alice who was never in any of the games. The original creator of the game said that this woman's not in the game, so they literally just using the name Resident Evil and some of the characters, and the way they're ending this, again, nothing like the games. It looks like there's some cure. The guy from Game of Thrones is in it. The one that loves Khaleesi. And
wasn't that girl in Heroes?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, I swear I saw one of the girls from Heroes in there. Yeah, lots of explosions. Dragons, zombie dragons. That's original. I don't even think the real world had dragons. Maybe it's because they got the Game of Thrones guys. Maybe Khaleesi is going to make a cameo. Maybe it's a crossover.
Well, you don't technically know it's a dragon because it didn't breathe fire.
No, it flew. And
yeah, there's a lot of things that fly.
And it was lizard-like. Mm-hmm. And you said it was a dragon. Well, it's the first
no,
thing.
I actually didn't say it was a dragon.
Well, okay, fair enough. I swear you said it was a dragon opening the podcast. I know why I said it was a dragon because it looks like a fucking dragon. Sure, it didn't breathe fire, but who gives a shit? The movie looks shit. I agree with you, Joe. It's like this is a franchise that hasn't known what it was trying to be for a very long time. I understand there's a lot of people that like these films that never played the games, and it does have its audience. But I'm a video gamer. This sucks. It's just not even a good movie. It's just random zombie action film.
I've literally seen 1.5 of these films, and I walked out of the second one. Which one is this now? The fifth? The sixth
No, this
one?
is the sixth one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they still make these.
Well, they make them quite cheap, Joe, and
It shows.
It does show. They make them cheap as chips, and then they churn them out, and then they get their budget back pretty easily because it does have its fan base. Regardless, they don't spend 200 million on the Resident Evil franchise. They probably spend $5. Really,
it deserves better than this. I mean, the fact that a TV show is highly regarded as a better format than this,
which show? Walking Dead.
Yeah, the Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. Yeah.
It does a hell of a better job than this at portraying what the Resident Evil game was trying to portray. I mean, there's a lot of films that do a better job than this film.
Yeah.
And I, to be honest, don't want to spend any more time on it.
Yeah, I think, you know what, this is one franchise I think should be Dead and Buried. Maybe that's the title for the next one. Resident Evil, Dead and Buried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was that.
Well, let's hope it is the final chapter, but that's our review on the final chapter of Resident Evil.
The next trailer is Logan. And I've watched this a couple of times now. And it wasn't the trailer I was expecting to see, but I was very pleasantly surprised to see that it's if you were to go and watch this trailer in a cinema and not know who Wolverine was, you would just think it's a drama that starred Hugh Jackman. But towards the end of the trailer, yeah, it's clear that it's a Wolverine film. To me, there's a whole thing about the whole old Logan thing that doesn't, because I'm not a fan of the comic, and it's not even, from what I understood from someone yesterday, it's not even part of the actual X-Men. It's a standalone thing.
Oh, okay.
You're
not a fan of Old Man Logan, or you've just not read it?
I've not read it.
Okay, you said you weren't a fan.
No?
You implied that you read it by saying you're not a fan of it.
I didn't say I read it.
No, but you said you're not a fan of it.
Yeah.
So you're not a fan of Old Man Logan, the comic book?
No.
But how could you form that opinion if you haven't read it?
What do you mean?
As in, you got to read it if you're going to judge it, right?
I'm not judging it. I'm just not. I've not read it, so I can't be a fan if I've not read it.
Okay, don't worry. Anyway, go on.
How can I be? I'm a fan of Wolverine.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going by.
Okay.
And so it's a matter of me saying that I'm separating all of that from what I know about the character or that story.
Yeah.
And so, that I think that's the way James Mangold's coming from it. Okay, we can't do that because of Marvel and Fox. So this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And and they're setting it on the it's set years later after Days of Future Past.
Okay, so it's after that. Hang on, wait. When you say Days of Future Past,
yeah, the future that we saw them at the end of Days of Future Past.
Oh right, okay, sure, okay.
And so, if I'm wrong about that, someone write in. But that's what I've seen online.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so that's why I said I'm not a fan of. Maybe I worded that wrong then. I thought that's what you would always say if you've don't know any of the material. Because if you haven't read any material, you can't be a fan. So you're not a fan of the material.
Anyway, regardless.
Yeah, I'll leave it to you now.
Yeah, I mean, like everything you said. I mean, like it looks really interesting. The way they're going in the direction with it. I mean, obviously they can't do the Old Man Logan storyline that's in the comics due to rights and stuff with Marvel and stuff. Otherwise, we'd have a entirely different movie, a completely different movie, because this isn't Old Man Logan at all. I think the comments at the start of production on this thing, when they kept referencing that as a point, they should never have done that. But this looks like an interesting take for a standalone Wolverine movie. I see they got the guy from X-Men Apocalypse there, the bald guy, I've forgotten his name. The informant guy. You know the informant guy, they go and they meet Psylocke, and there's that guy, the bald mutant guy, that knows where like certain mutants are, the underground guy. Well, he's in the trailer right there. It's played by a different actor, but he's got his look from the comics. I've forgotten the mutant's name. I
think that's the guy that Stephen Merchant's playing.
That's right, that's correct. That's exactly who I'm on about, because Stephen Merchant wasn't in Apocalypse, but it's the same character played by.
That's why that threw me. Huh?
Yeah, but to be quite honest, in the pictures that they showed online, Stephen Merchant looks just like the guy that played him. It's probably because he has more of a role in this movie and stuff. So they've gotten a better actor that's more of a name to kind of like fill those shoes there. But yeah, I like, as someone, look, I'm a huge X-Men fan, so I'm a bit conflicted about how I feel about this movie. But in terms of just the trailer and, being a film fan first and foremost, I say, if I wasn't a big X-Men fan or X-Men comic fan, I'd say this is a solid looking movie kind of thing. Solid looking trailer. I'm interested to see what they do in this standalone, to see how it pans out. I see they got X-23 in there. For those that don't know, X-23 is a clone of Wolverine, and it's potentially his daughter. So she's got metal claws as well. Which, she's in the more recent comics and stuff. So I'm not that well versed with her, because I haven't actually personally read an X-Men comic since 2003. So, someone can fill us in comments below and stuff. But the trailer looks solid. It's got a Sons of Anarchy kind of vibe to it.
Sons of Anarchy?
Well, it's got kind of like that biker kind of western kind of thing, modern western kind of thing going on there. With a bit of country music in there. But I like what I see. As a fan of Old Man Logan and that comic book and stuff, that's not what you're going to get, guys, with this movie. So if you're going there expecting Old Man Logan, please don't expect that, because you're just going to be thoroughly disappointed. But I said out loud, like on my Facebook, I made a big little fanboy rant, which I rarely do these days. But the fanboy in me kind of broke out when I first saw it. I was like, meh. And I am a little bit meh. The X-Men fan in me is like not really that excited about this movie, only because of the preconceptions towards this movie that was mentioned in the trades before. But obviously that's just media hype. I've come to accept that, and yeah, we'll see how it pans out. I was a big fan of the last Wolverine movie, and I like James Mangold as a director.
Mangold.
Him too. And I'm pretty sure that him and Hugh Jackman have cooked up something really good, and hopefully we'll get that full-on berserker rage that we've all wanted to see in full force, especially that this is officially an R-rated film in vain of films like Deadpool, etc. So
yeah, I guess that will translate over here to a 15 or an 18.
Yeah.
So yeah, if people don't realise, for my accents, we're from the UK. So R in America is I don't know, that covers a lot. Or I think it covers 15 to, or was it NC-17? That's 18 over there.
Yeah, NC-17. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, over here R would be a 15 or an 18. So yeah, that was Wolverine. This trailer is Guardians of the Galaxy, and this is actually a pretty good teaser trailer. It's a lot longer. It's for a teaser trailer. It's pretty long, because these days you get teaser trailers that show you an image and then show you an end card. This is quite it's kind of a throwback to the very first trailer from the first film, where you see a whole bunch of characters. It's got that same ooga jaga jaga music, and yeah, it shows you enough to get you compelled to well, these characters, you're coming back into the world with these characters. It's going to be looks like it's going to be another journey, a funny journey, with these characters. And there's a bit at the end with is that Grax? Is it not Grax?
Yeah, Drax. Yeah.
Drax and Star-Lord, which is awesome. I won't spoil it, just watch it. But yeah, this looks awesome. Sach?
Yeah, everything you said. I mean, like, you hit the nail in the coffin there. I mean, like, this basically is a really good teaser trailer. It doesn't really give you anything away about the plot. It just gives you glimpses of the return of these characters that you know and love from that first film. You know, I like the little button at the end with Rocket Raccoon and Baby Groot. It does everything that a teaser trailer should do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think this is probably the best teaser trailer that I've seen in a long time, to be honest. Because I remember when teasers would show you very little but give you enough. You know what I mean? Enough to go, oh my God, that's what it is. It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And now we can't wait to see the real trailer.
I think the best teaser trailer I've seen. This is one of the best I've seen for a while. The first that I would say back in 2012 when Prometheus.
That was a fantastic teaser.
That was brilliant because all you saw was the words coming on the screen
just
and
like
shots
that
of the
original
film.
Alien movie.
Yeah, and that's, as far as I'm concerned, it was tense and I'm in, and it's the same with this one as well. It just throws you back into the that world that you knew of these guys. It's you've got the little button at the end. It's can't wait to see it. Right, okay. Next trailer is Assassin's Creed, and this trailer is a little better than the first one. In my eyes, it gives you a bit more of a insight into what the story is and what type of world it is. It's set in two different time periods. You got one set in the quasi-future, and you've got another time period set in the I'm gonna guess the 1500s, and you've got the whole Matrix aspect of him going into this thing which transports him back to that time period. And him, who I'm referring to, is Michael Fassbender. His character is very similar to the character in the games, but I believe it is not the same character in the games. Is it Ezio? I can't.
I've never actually played the Assassin's Creed games.
Someone needs to correct me. The best person, I guess, is what's his face? Shivam. Shivam is one of someone we know who is really into the game series. So he would be the best person to give us a insight into these characters. But yeah, from what I can see from this, it's shot really well. It looks so nice, and a lot of this is shot practically as well. So that's this is gonna look really well on a big screen. I've got what we're watching this on at the moment is a 21:9 cinema, really wide cinema screen, and if it looks good here, it's going to really look good in the cinema. It's just very vibrant, full of color. It looks really nice. If this film does anything, I'm looking more forward to this film than I was. What's that other film that came out this year? That other video game franchise film that came out this year. I'm looking more forward to it than that, and it looks good.
There's a big video game film this year. I can't remember. It's deleted from my memory banks. It's a solid trailer, this one. I'm looking forward to see what they do with this. It comes out next year, early next year, doesn't it?
It comes out this year.
That's not what the posters say of you.
This film comes out this year.
Probably in the States, but
no, this film comes out this year.
Anyway, the trailer looks great. I think this trailer does show a lot more about where the story's kind of potentially going and stuff. But I'm liking the look and the aesthetic and stuff, and I like that documentary thing they showed. No, sorry, that making of clip they showed a while back, where they showed that stuntman performing the leap of faith, and the fact they didn't have to do that practically, but they did it practically, and that's an actual dude jumping off that building, kind of thing. So, but I like the aesthetic. I like the look of it. Hey, Fassbender can do no wrong for me. Can't wait to see what they do, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, as I said, what was the other video game film that came out this year?
Oh, Ratchet and Clank.
No. Oh gosh, I cannot remember.
Yeah.
Big
Tomb Raider, not Tomb Raider.
Had
Resident
big
Evil,
orcs.
the final chapter.
Had big orcs in it.
Oh, Warcraft.
Yes,
I forgot
Warcraft.
all about Warcraft. So did everyone when it came out.
Yeah.
Well, not in China, but definitely the UK.
Well, yeah. In any words, it's not actually on the list. I'm looking at the film distribution UK thing. It's not here.
Yeah, because it doesn't come out this.
It doesn't even come out next. I've been through all of next year. There's no date for it.
Let me find out, because they do. There is a release date, because when I checked it when I was putting a banner up, it was a different. It was like early next year, if I remember.
If it's January, it's not January. If it's February, it's not February. Because I'm looking all the way. It goes all the way up to July, and it's not here. Anyway, yeah, that look. Assassin's Creed looks good. I thought it was coming out this year, but I've been told that it's not. So, nuts to that. Okay, so
January 1st.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Opening in the US 21st of December, UK cinemas January 1st. That's what I thought it was 4th, but yeah, 1st. Fair enough.
Okay, so Star Wars story, Rogue One is the next trailer. I know this came out a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't have a show a couple of weeks ago, so we're talking about it. Okay, so as good as this trailer, I think this trailer looks awesome. I'll go, before I nitpick at it, I'll go through all the bits that I love. It's shot really well.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
It's shot really well. You see scenery in it that you've not seen in any of the Star Wars films, and that's what I love about it. Everyone seems to be, you should be going to Tatooine and all these other planets that people recognise, but you see greenery in here. You see slums and all kinds of things, but it's not Tatooine. It's got a different aesthetic to it.
Yeah. And, well, it's a new planet called Jediah.
Jediah. Okay.
Jediah. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
And so everything about it looks awesome. It looks good. The one thing that I have a problem with this is the marketing. I still think it's geared towards the Star Wars fan and not. There's an intrinsic problem purely because when you ask anyone, are you excited to see the new Star Wars film? And say, oh yeah, Episode 8, or the next next part of the main franchise. People don't know that this is set before all of that, and I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens in December.
I thought Vader would have been a stronger presence in the marketing. I mean, I know you see him in this trailer, but I mean, like, I would have expected to see him more predominantly on the poster, if you know what I mean. As well as in this trailer, I would have expected to see more Darth Vader.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Or maybe he's not in it that much in the movie that they don't want to blow their load in the trailer, maybe. But I mean, like, you get more of a shot of him in this trailer than you have in any of the previous ones. But you know, I think this is a really solid trailer. That aside, the marketing issues about this movie, which I totally agree with you, aside, this trailer, if you're a Star Wars fan, looks fucking fantastic. The aesthetic is on point, just as Episode 8 was, with the practical effects as well as the digital. I love the look of Saw Gerrera. I didn't know how mashed up that guy got in the Clone Wars, because he's got robot legs and shit. I'm referring to Forrest Whitaker's character, who's playing a character from the Clone Wars cartoon series. If you're a hardcore Star Wars fan and followed the Clone Wars cartoon series, he's a character in there, and that's the only link that you get from the Clone Wars, really. But I like the look. I like the look of the. What I love, though, getting to the point of what you said about the planets and stuff, Yavin 4, which is the Rebel base in the original film, in A New Hope, I love how Gareth Edwards has managed to not only recreate that set, but also make it look contemporary and have it fit in with, you know, his version of this world, kind of thing. Like, you are seeing views from the Rebel base that you wouldn't have got in 1977, giving it a different, you know, a familiar different look. Because you can see the temples from the inside of the Rebel base and stuff, and I like the shots that he's used to expand the world, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Within that, keeping it consistent. I like the shot with Mon Mothma there, the woman that's playing Mon Mothma. It kind of leads me to think she has more of a role in this movie than any other Star Wars movie that's come before it. You know, I like what's his name? Mads Mikkelsen. His character looks very interesting. Looks really, really good. And I'm liking that I'm liking that ship, the new U-wing. That looks quite interesting, that ship.
The old U-wing.
The old U-wing. The old, Well, fuck with you and the New Hope, you can't.
Again, as I said, it looks amazing. I just hope that translates well into people going to watch it.
Do you think they should not have called it a Star Wars story and kept with the original title, a Star Wars anthology? Star Wars Anthology Rogue One? Or do you think it's purely they needed to do more within the marketing to differentiate that it's not Episode 8?
Well, the intrinsic problem with this whole thing is that the episodes aren't episodes anymore.
Yeah.
And if you call something Rogue One, Force Awakens, it's no one's going to know any different to, oh, is that the next one? Yeah. And that's what people are going to think. If you called it, if you called the episodic ones as I said, what's it called? The Force Awakens Episode 7 or Episode 7 of The Force Awakens, that clearly underlines what it is.
Yeah, totally.
I know for your reason why they said they didn't do that.
Yeah.
But
now we've come to that crossover point where, which makes me to believe, to answer, what are they going to call Episode 8? Are they going to give it just its title like they did The Force Awakens?
I think.
Or are they going to call it Episode 8 just to do this differentiation deal?
I honestly think, keep whatever the title is, but have Episode 8 somewhere.
On there,
and so people know it's part of the ongoing timeline.
Saga,
okay. And not a side story.
Yeah.
Because whatever Episode 8 is called, it was people think, I'm confused now. What's this now? Yeah. I'm guessing if they see Daisy Ridley in it and all the other characters, that will help. But at this point in time now, people go, is this next Star Wars film
thing? Because you recognise it from obviously the Star Wars iconic kind of images like stormtroopers and X-wings and stuff like that.
But to average Joe, those stormtroopers don't look any different to the stormtroopers you saw in the last film.
In the last film, yeah.
And so this is what I mean. If anyway, I could go on about this all day.
Yeah.
But just in general, I don't think they would. I think they were short-sighted in not putting the episode number in that film. I mean, despite what people think of the prequels, the moment he started episoding them, putting an episodic number on them, it worked to establish that, okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
And they should have kept with that notion, purely because of the situation they're in now. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, but then you would have had some Muppet go, what happened to 4, 5, and 6? I don't understand.
Well, no, but
there would have been someone. There would have been one guy.
But it's clearly on the DVDs, on everything that there are episodes.
Yeah.
And once you click onto that, and this is it wouldn't even matter if this was called Rogue One.
You know what? It's going to be very interesting to see how this film plays in China.
Why do you say that?
Mainly because China, The Force Awakens didn't really shift that much in China, because in China they're not really Star Wars savvy out there. None of the other ones played out there, but because China now is like a dominant force at the box office, because before they didn't have that many movie theaters or something like that. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but Force Awakens didn't dent it because the previous Star Wars films have never played there theatrically. So they were like, it's something that they're aware of, but it's never really been a thing. Whereas this movie, Donnie Yen's like one of the main characters in there. I wonder how, for the Chinese market, how well they play with the marketing out there, if that makes sense, with his character. But we'll have to see, because I'm pretty sure an international trailer or a Chinese market trailer will hit soon. And I think that would be an interesting one to see what they do in terms of the marketing for that region of the world. So, yeah.
Okay, on to the news topics. And the first one is Tim Miller leaves Deadpool.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, so Tim Miller, he directed the first Deadpool under conditions that almost the same conditions that what's his name?
Ryan Reynolds?
No. Who directed the first X-Men film?
Oh, Bryan Singer.
Yeah, more or less under the same conditions with a very limited budget.
Yeah. And
he made a freaking awesome film.
Yeah.
The same what Tim Miller did. Clearly, they're having apparently Tim Miller doesn't see eye to eye with producer Ryan Reynolds. Apparently, it's regarding the hiring of whoever is Cable.
Right.
And I don't know who they've cast as Cable, but it's clearly enough for the director and Ryan Reynolds to not see eye to eye, and so that's a big deal.
Right.
That's a big deal because you're not going to get the same feel from this film that we did in the first, and I think that was paramount to how that film turned out. To be honest,
who are we getting for Cable? Have they confirmed that?
That's what I just said. I don't know who it is.
Oh, okay. No one knows just yet. Okay.
Yeah. And so...
so it's a dispute over who they got for Cable? That's what we're talking about?
We'll just discuss on what he's leaving. And that's part of the reason. They didn't see eye to eye on who Cable should be.
Yeah.
Who the actor portraying Cable should be. And so... I mean, in this instance, there's not much here that's given any indication to who Cable is, and so if people don't know who Cable is a character in the X-Men universe. Jean Grey and Scott Summers,
from the future.
Yeah, some from the future. It's time traveler, very powerful mutant, and so yeah, I don't know, but this can only be. I don't know who you could replace Tim Miller with, because it was his first. The first film was his vision. Second film, clearly he had a good idea for where it was going, and now he's left. Where do you go with that? Do you go with someone that's do you do what Marvel do and just cherry pick
Well, let me correct you there. Yes, no, was it his vision? He was hired onto the project.
Sure.
You got to understand. The script was already written. The script had been written for the past 15 years, or however long that origins took, because they hired the Zombieland guys to write the script, and they're still writing the script for this one, which they more or less written a few drafts of this one just in case this was a hit, because they're fanboys about it. Ryan Reynolds got on board, and eventually they found Tim Miller, you know what I mean, to do that that short film that came out a while back before the movie came out. Now, you know, this is a bit of a loss, most definitely, but you know, because Tim Miller got it, he got the aesthetic, and more importantly, yeah, they had a minimal budget from Fox, but at the same time, it wasn't the same scenario that Singer had, okay? Because Singer was promised a bigger budget, and then they stripped his budget halfway through filming. You know what I mean? They didn't get that at Deadpool. Deadpool was always going to be a small budget thing, and Tim Miller was a guy that didn't need a big budget because of his background in special effects and working in video games. You know, because his company. For those that don't know about Tim Miller is a special effects artist. He has his own special effects company. I've forgotten the name of that company, but they do a lot of the CGI cutscenes in most of video games that come out today. Games like Halo, games like Arkham Asylum and stuff. They hire his team of people to do the motion capture for those games. And you know, there was a sizzle, like when Deadpool came out, there was a sizzle reel of the effects of Deadpool, and also all the stuff that he'd worked on previously as a motion capture director kind of thing. And Knights of the Old Republic was one. All these games, and you know, his team, they are fanboys of comic books and this source material, so of course he got the world of Deadpool. You know what I mean? He also worked on the Deadpool video game, doing the you know, the CGI cutscenes for that. So he totally got the character.
Well, this is why I said that he's got a certain vision for it. Hence why he's left.
Of course. But you know, most importantly, this is the thing I'm going to say that is the most important factor. All films are as good as their scripts. As long as the script is great, you know what I mean? Even if the director isn't the best director, as long as your script is good, everything else should just fall into place. We've got the same team from behind the original movie. Same producers, because it's Ryan Reynolds himself who clearly gets the character, and the Zombieland guys who clearly get the character, because the script and the storyline to the Deadpool film was on point. Okay? At this point, they could get anyone to direct Deadpool. Okay? Yeah, it'll have a different aesthetic, because each director will have a different take on how they do it, but you know what I mean? I don't think it's that much of a car crash at this point. If you told me, if I'd read that Ryan Reynolds had pulled out and the writers had pulled out, or it wasn't written by the same writer, you know what I mean? There's a lot of different components that could go wrong, because you see, these guys, the guys that remain are the guys that have been there since the beginning, before they even had a director.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean? You know, this wasn't something that Tim Miller wrote, or, you know what I mean? And I get where you're coming from. He had a certain passion, and he did. I'd say find a director with that passion. I remember before he came on board, they really wanted Robert Rodriguez to do it. But Robert Rodriguez, he's a fan as well, and he even said, look, Deadpool's going to be amazing because that script is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert Rodriguez was right. What stopped him from doing that movie was his commitments to Machete Kills and Sin City. He was chock-a-block.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Battle Angel Alita coming, you know, in production right now, maybe it might fit. Maybe they could get Rodriguez.
He's probably already finished filming Battle Angel.
Exactly. I actually think Rodriguez would be a good fit, mainly because He's a director that could do bigger budget looking things on a lower budget. He clearly gets visual effects. He's an R-rated director primarily, and he loves comic books and these kind of movies. You know what I mean? He would definitely be someone I picked, and also it would be the kind of movie that's very different to the films that he's done before. You know what I mean? There are even other directors I'd look into. I'd even choose someone like Neil Blomkamp, because again, special effects director, different tone to anything he's done before. But at the moment, he's not doing anything. He's been procrastinating on this Alien movie that hasn't happened yet. He needs something to do at the moment. He's never done a project that hasn't been his own thing. You know what I mean? He's mainly wrote and direct films. It'd be great to see him do a script that someone else did. You know what I mean? To give his movie a different flair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or fuck it, get Kevin Smith. Because one, it's Kevin Smith who gets fucking superhero films. You know what I mean? Or superheroes in general.
If I know Kevin Smith,
he wouldn't touch it.
No, he'd probably help with the dialogue, but that's about it.
Yeah, of course. But I'm just saying, for the sake of, you want people that get the character, or you want a special effects director, you know what I mean? Because they've got the script. The script is the main skeleton here. Do you know what I mean? You don't want someone like Tim Burton who's going to change it up and throw he's that big a name ego director where he'll throw that script away and bring his people in. You know what I mean? Fuck, I'm going to say something very blasphemous right now. I'd get Michael Bay, hired hand director that does what the studios say.
But yeah, but the thing is that Michael Bay's not a bad director.
He's not.
You can just see where he's just lost interest.
Yeah, of course.
Look at the first Transformers film and the second and the third.
Yeah, exactly.
You can tell where he was into it in the first one, and then he can whatever.
But again, like I keep saying about Michael Bay, it's all about the script. That first Transformers film was a fantastic script. You know what I mean? If this is a fantastic script, as good as what the last movie is, I'd be up for seeing Michael Bay's take on Deadpool. The only thing is, Michael Bay wouldn't touch Deadpool with a barge pole because he's been on record for saying he doesn't want to do a superhero movie. Yeah, he does the Transformers movie. Cool move, Michael Bay. But plus he'd probably do it for like $1 gajillion, and they don't have the money for that. So but I'm just spitballing here.
No, not necessarily. Look at Bad Boys. Bad Boys looks like $120 million film, and how much was that?
Yeah, that's right. That was something like 30 million or whatever, and he made that thing look amazing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'd look at outside of him, outside of like people I've named and stuff. Hang on, who else could do a good Deadpool?
Jon Favreau.
Yeah, Jon Favreau. I tell you who, Lexi Alexandra.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, Lexi Alexandra. Fucking hell, she's not doing that much. Get Lexi Alexandra back in the mix.
Isn't she doing like the Netflix shows or not?
Yeah, I think she is. But you know what? She was complaining on Schmo's Nose about how Hollywood don't seek her out and stuff, even though, okay, she did Punisher Warzone, okay? It was okay, but it wasn't the greatest Punisher movie or whatnot, but there were elements in it that were great. There was a lot of studio politics on that movie, and she didn't get her vision out there, but Green Street is a fantastic movie. And, she gets character, you know what I mean? And she'd be someone I'd totally look into. Or fuck it, our mate Has, pimp him out. He's a special effects guy.
Well, yeah, Has has already got himself into a few projects. He's doing the Robin Hood.
The Robin Hood of the future.
Yeah, and so it has is booked up as it is as well.
But I mean, just get. You don't really need. You know what I mean? Fucking hell! If you had to get like someone just to point and shoot, they'll have a different aesthetic to what Tim Miller did. But then I named the special effects guys. You know what I mean? Like Blomkamp, etc. That'll bring a similar aesthetic. You know what I mean? I think Robert Rodriguez would be interesting because you'll have that similar aesthetic, but you'll have something different. It'll be a different enough vibe to make it be its own, you know what I mean, like its own sequel or its own thing. Well, fuck it. Okay, John Canahan's booked up with fucking everything over at Sony at the moment, but I would have said him as well. Or like, there's loads of people, I think, but I don't think. Yeah, I agree. It's a big blow that we've lost Tim Miller. Big blow, but I'm not gonna get disappointed and cry about it. You know what I mean? I think there's plenty of other directors out there that, you know, under the script that they have, they can make a kick-ass Deadpool movie. You know what I mean? You just need someone. But if you get someone that gets the character and doesn't need to be educated, then, you know what I mean? Then you're gonna get something fucking special. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Moving on. We've got the Han Solo movie. We've got a new cast for the Han Solo movie, and that is Donald Glover, or in the music industry, he's known as Childish Gambino. This guy is friggin' talented. He'll do really well as Lando. As far as I'm concerned, that's the best news about this film that I've heard since it was first announced. Donald Glover, as far as I'm concerned, he's kind of a genius in terms of. He just started a show on in America at the moment. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, apparently it's getting really good reviews, and so he's hot property in Hollywood at the moment. So yeah, more power to him, and that's made me more interested in this film than I was before. In terms of where they go with that, if they'll use him in anything else beyond this film, I'll be, if depending on what time the time period. Yeah, I would love to see it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know what? I think he's the best of the best, and he's like the only choice out there for them to cast as a young Lando Calrissian. I remember when the rumours happened and stuff. Look, I'm going to stress this. I'm not that excited about this project. I've said it many a times on the podcast how much I'm not looking forward to a Han Solo spin-off. And, you know, in my eyes, you know, yeah, I'm being total fanboy here, but that's how much, like, the shit means to me. You know, in my eyes, Harrison Ford and Billy D are Han Solo and fucking Lando Calrissian. But, those feelings aside, I do like Donald Glover. I think he can pull it off. I think, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with this movie now, because you just got to accept it. And yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I think he's a solid choice. It makes me think: are they going to show that infamous card game of Sardbark?
Yeah, they have to. Where
Han wins the Falcon off of Lando. Are we going to see that? Is that what's going on? And more importantly, if you've not seen Star Wars Rebels, where Lando shows up, kind of thing, and actually in the show, Billy D comes back to voice younger Lando Calrissian, even though he sounds fucking old. What was I going to say? Yeah, I'm very interested to see Lando. Well, you know what? I'm more interested to see a Lando spin-off than a fucking Han Solo spin-off, to be honest. I think there's more to Lando Calrissian that we don't know than Han Solo.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I would have much rather... If they said, we're doing a Lando Calrissian movie and Donald Glover was Lando, I'd love to see that. Fuck it. There was this short film that came out a few years ago called Black Star Warrior. Okay, it was done like a blaxploitation movie and stuff. It was quite funny. I actually thought that was a really good vibe for a Lando movie kind of thing, and like making it, you know, like a blaxploitation movie set in the Star Wars universe. Had a bit of an Ocean's 11 kind of, like, you know, it was like a heist movie, if you know what I mean. And that's kind of like, you know, he's a gambler, he's a smuggler, he's a, you know what I mean, he's a charming debonair kind of cat that's down with the ladies, you know what I mean. And like, you know what I mean, like I'd like to see a Lando movie, to be quite honest, and have it be a fun movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that has more scope. But yeah, Donald Glover, great casting. Be interested to see what he does with the role. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so do you think they'll get Lord and Miller to do more in the Star Wars universe?
Well, we'll have to see how this movie's does. You know what I mean? It all hinges on their Lucasfilm career hinges on this movie. Okay, it all depends. It all depends on what happens with this movie to see where they go with this. Whether they do more Star Wars or whether they do less. You know, I think that's that. You know, they're not signed up for like loads of Star Wars movies. No one is.
See, because I would like to see them come back and do something original in that universe.
Yeah.
Purely because no one's exploring that. Everyone's milking the ass of the
original.
Hey,
films.
remember what the original trilogy like? Member berries. If anyone's seen the new South Park, everyone knows what member berries is. I'm starting to get sick of.
You want to see something new?
I want to see something different, and this is. When George Lucas was talking about where he wanted to take it, I was like, yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah.
I've got that original stuff that is there. Let's go over there.
I'm sure they will. I mean, like, it wouldn't surprise me in the next wave of anthology films they'll mention an Obi-Wan movie.
Even so, that's
still that 20-year gap.
You haven't expanded it. You're just sticking with characters that everyone knows. Look. Even let's say this, right? Yeah. Let's say you had this. It's from Lucasfilm. It's this film. It's got nothing to do with Star Wars until you get to the end of it. It's a trailer that shows about this guy that's trying to live his life, trying to get money to do what he's doing. He's
You just want it to be like some complete offshoot thing where you don't connect the dots until much later.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I want to see something like that because that universe deserves something like that.
Yeah. It's really funny though. Oh God. You know, I think Dark Horse Comics did a series of stories, random stories about different people within that world doing different stuff, exactly like that. If you know what I mean. Like they do the day in the life of the Gonk droid.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then the next issue would be like the day in the life of Lodbot. You know Lodbot, Lando's buddy. You know that guy in that picture right there. See the bald guy with the little beep 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 thing? Yeah, him. Day in the life of that guy. You know what I mean? And the next one would be like the day in the life of a Rancor. You know what I mean? And like next one would be like a sand person's day out. You know what I mean? It'd be totally random. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So would that be something you'd like to do, or do like a documentary on stand people?
Or
that'd be interesting.
Or documentary style film in the universe, like they did with cops.
Troops.
Or troops. Yeah.
Troops. Yeah.
Just something that no one's seen before, but in that universe, because that could. It doesn't have to cost anything.
Yeah.
Because no one's using a lightsaber, no one's doing anything. It's just in that universe, and well, look.
I tell you what, Joe, pitch it to Kathleen.
Yeah,
you should do it, man. You should do it. Show him Pius and go, look, this is my entry, and like yo, let's have that meeting and pitch it to her, man.
Wasn't that supposed to be what Star Wars 1919 was supposed to be? Kind of like a deep down in
the underworld.
Coruscant.
Yeah, I think it was. You know, like tales that I can't remember correctly, but yeah, kind of as a TV show, like.
Yeah, I'd love to see something like that.
Yeah.
But I guess that's years from now. But
well, you know what? We may still get stuff like that, to be fair.
Yeah, maybe we will.
So.
Well, on to the next story, and this is a Dwayne Johnson one. Okay, so everyone knows where he comes from. He's a wrestler, or was a wrestler. I guess he still wrestles now, so he still is a wrestler. And so, yeah, he's Dwayne Johnson teams up with Will Ferrell to produce hour-long wrestling comedy on Fox. And so, to me, Will Ferrell and Dwayne Johnson, that's just gold, as far as I'm concerned. Mel may hate that because she doesn't like Will Ferrell.
Yeah, she's silly.
Yeah.
Love you, Mel, but like, no, you're wrong.
Come on, she's not listening. She's. I don't know why she doesn't like him, but I guess people have people have their taste. But I think he's one of the funniest guys on the planet, man. He's just so, he's got one of those faces that you're just, if he says anything, you would just laugh at him.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the type of sense of humor I have. But yeah, just having these two together about Dwayne Johnson's past, or like I don't know if they're spoofing his past or doing whatever this film may be. That's going to be amazing. I'm in, man. I just want I want to see where that goes in the sense of we should talk about this, right? In the sense of where what am I trying to say?
I know, Joe.
Just let's, for instance, you could come up with a story about Stone Cold or something, and it could be a comedic version of what that story would be in the same terms that you would have. Stone Cold will recite his version of it, and he would recite his version of it, and because Will Ferrell is Will Ferrell, they would write in that way that it is, well, he did this, I did that, and it could just be completely. There's so many scenarios in that that it could be funny.
Is this like a movie or a TV show?
I'm guessing it's like a TV movie thing.
Oh,
because it's an hour long. I guess it's like a sort of like a documentary as well. But I thought it was because I saw Will Ferrell. I need to talk about this purely because when The Rock, the reason why I was kind of into wrestling through in the late 90s, early 2000s because of The Rock, and it was the way he spoke to people in the segments. It was hilarious, and I just want to see what he would do next. And to be honest, a lot of the wrestlers in that era were pretty funny in their in their character personas, and that's what I love. And the fact that
I think that's what wrestling's missing now.
Oh yeah, big time.
Definitely. I mean, like, you know, like Cena's got his thing, but outside of that, you know what I mean?
Did you say John Cena?
Well, now he's become like quite a joke, hasn't he?
He's always been a joke.
Yeah, but I think that's down to the memes. The memes have made him infamous, man. But
I see what you mean.
Yeah,
but in regards to what those guys did in that era, and that's what they're going to focus on. Yeah. That could be freaking hilarious. That could. I'm looking forward to that, man. That could be. That could be. And they say it's a wrestling comedy, so it's definitely going to have those Will Ferrellisms in it.
You know what? A Will Ferrell movie based in the WWE world, if it's done like Talladega Nights and that aesthetic, I would cry laughing. Yeah. I would actually cry.
I would love to see that. I'd really love to see that. And so to me, that's potential gold. And if just say it's not even just Dwayne Johnson, let's just say it's against Stone Cold or The Undertaker, or they just keep doing different hour-long versions with all those guys from that era. That would be brilliant. But that's my take on it. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so next story is Joss Whedon reveals that he's currently working on a screenplay for an hour-long for a horror film that takes place during World War II. And I thought that was stupid at first, but then I thought, hold on a minute, he wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't have said that if he didn't have a good reason to do that. In the sense that Joss Whedon doesn't do anything just for the whim of doing something. So if he's got a good idea, he generally develops it and says, "Yep, I'm doing this." And so after is this his first film after Age of Ultron?
Yes.
Wow, so
he's taking a bit of a break.
He took a long break.
Well, he just did like a really stressful kind of movie, and he's just chilled for a bit. And to be quite honest, Joss Whedon at this point now of his career, he can do any fucking movie he likes, and no one's gonna say fucking no. Yeah, you know what I mean. And good on him. because he's needed this calling card for years.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when they said he was going to direct the Avengers. Like, that was one of those moments where the internet crashed because fanboys were like, "Oh my God, Josh Whedon's directed Avengers! Oh my God, this is the greatest day ever!" And people that know about like how action movies are directed, like, well, he's got the dialogue covered, and I'm pretty sure because he's written comic books and stuff, and he knows the characters, but can he do the action? And you know what? He delivered in spades because Marvel have that department sorted so that any director could, you know what I mean, do their thing, so that, you know what I mean. And like, I'm telling you, man, like, Avengers was a fantastic movie. Age of Ultron, maybe not so. I don't blame him for those faults, but you know, too many cooks and that fucking Pearl Meta, fuck off. Yeah, they just you know what I mean. But end of the day, you know what I mean, he did what he had to do. He needed a break. He's not there for Infinity War, but you know what I mean, like, this is the best point in his career right now because he can do anything he fucking wants. And you know what, we're just gonna get some gold from this guy. Yeah.
And so the fact that it's a
World War II horror movie, I mean, like, that's interesting, and coming from Josh Whedon, it's going to be original and great. I wonder if it's anything like Werewolf Women off the Assess, because like, I think that was a fake trailer for the Grindhouse movies that Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino did.
I think it'll be a bit more grounded than that.
It had Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu. You know what? I really want to see that film, like a longer version of that trailer, because that looked joke.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot more grounded than that. This
isn't going to be anything like that, but I'm pretty sure it will have jokes because it's Josh Whedon and because he is quite a witty individual with his dialogue. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, hold on a minute. Did he have anything to do with Alien Resurrection?
Yeah, he wrote it.
Wow.
Well, he wrote some of the screenplay for it. They didn't use all of his screenplay. It was just a job. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, don't blame him.
Oh no, I never saw the film once, and I didn't really pay attention to.
He also wrote a draft of Toy Story.
Oh.
He's credited for Toy Story.
Okay. Yeah. You learn something every day. Yeah, I've only ever seen Alien Resurrection once, and I thought the ending was so funny. It kind of I'm more akin to watch Alien 3 now than I am to watch Alien Resurrection.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, we know how that's going. But anyway, yeah, this is an awesome story about Josh Whedon. I hope, and there was another story about him who wanted to direct a Star Wars film.
Yeah, well, that I remember when Disney got the Star Wars license, and he'd just done. He was in the middle of shooting Age of Ultron, and I think someone off IGN asked him, would he direct a Star Wars film? And because they were asking everyone, you know what I mean? And he was like, you know, he just had that look of like, I'm doing the Avengers, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, literally, like, fuck. Because people were auditioning to direct fucking episode 7, and he couldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just would never happen. You know what I mean? Because of his situation at the time. And like, you know, he's very open for it. I think, again, it would be like the Avengers. Everyone would love that to happen. And I think Lucasfilm, you know what? Not even an episode. Let him do an anthology where he can make it as different and crazy and Josh Whedon-y as he likes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it'd be amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's another question that actually is semi-related, but no, we'll pick this up another time. Moving on. Okay, so actually this kind of goes into the question that I was going to ask. So Doctor Strange, Kevin Feige shares that the introduction of the alternative dimensions in Doctor Strange will come in handy for future Marvel films, and what I got from that is that, okay, and this is what's been circling my head over the past year or so. Okay, so Days of Future Past did its thing and fixed that universe. Hugh Jackman's been saying he wants to do a Avengers film. Okay, let's put that to one side. You've got the gemstones that they're finding. You've got Doctor Strange that's dealing with multiple dimensions. You've got Legion that's coming out, the TV
which
series.
is a co-joint thing by Marvel and Fox.
Yeah, and so these worlds seem like they're about to collide in a very, if done well, a unique way. Let's just say, for instance, that Doctor Strange you know more about Doctor Strange than I do. So
do I? I really don't. I know as much as you know. I'm aware of who Doctor Strange is, his origin, and like crazy shit happens in that universe. But that's about it. I was a Spider-Man and X-Men guy, so I'm walking into Doctor Strange not knowing a goddamn thing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I probably know his origin because I know he had. Well, I'm not going to say the origin for people that haven't seen it, but it's implied in the trailers and stuff. But the only Doctor Strange thing that I ever paid attention to was an animated movie that was on Netflix, and I watched it because Doctor Strange always pops up in X-Men and shit, giving advice to Spider-Man and shit, and like, let's go check his origin story out. And I saw the origin on that, and you know what I mean? Like, I never read it, I never collected Doctor Strange, but I see where you're going with these alternative dimensions, and with Legion coming with time travel and stuff, and being both a Fox and maybe this is happening.
Well, this is what I mean.
Yeah.
If Doctor Strange is connected to Legion in some way, this is a complete hypothetical.
I mean, look, here's the loose connections that have been established already, which, I remember when the MCU was in its early days, very early days. You got to understand, the elephant in the room was the Hulk movie, because when they did that Hulk movie, originally it was a sequel to the Ang Lee one. The Ang Lee one is and isn't canon. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones where it is, but it isn't canon. You know what I mean? Because the director, Lewis, the guy, what films has he done? I know he did what's the fucking Sword and Sandals films? That was a remake of the Harryhausen movies. It's got Liam Neeson as Zeus. It's got fucking Avatar guy, Sam Worthington in. Clash of the Titans.
Yeah.
Okay, he directed Clash of the Titans, the director of Incredible Hulk. And I remember him saying on the DVD that the intro sequence, which could be his origin story, it was filmed in that way. So if you'd never seen a Hulk movie or anything, you could use that as the origin of how he became the Hulk. Or you could pretend it's one of the many times that he's tried to get cured and it fails. You know what I mean? Because the movie starts off with him in South America, which is where the Ang Lee movie left off, kind of thing. And there's no evidence to say that, the Ang Lee movie did not happen, but then I don't know whether they later on decided to go, no, it didn't, because I know General Talbot shows up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't follow Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I don't know in what capacity Talbot is, because they could have made him an older guy, or maybe he's still a younger guy. You watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. General Talbot in the...
yeah, I know you're talking about.
In the Ang Lee one, he was the younger guy, the adversary, the young guy.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
You know who I'm on about. Yeah. So, could Talbot still be the same guy?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, fair enough. Because that was the only issue I had, because I've not seen what Talbot looks like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
He's the guy that you'll recognise him instantly. I can't remember the actor's name, but you'll recognise him instantly.
But does he look similar to the other actor?
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, there you go. I mean, like, that's the, outside of the Fox stuff, that's the only one with a connection then. You know what I mean? It's not a 100% connection, but you can watch it with the MCU films. If you want to. I know a lot of people don't because they hate it, but I don't mind the Incredible Hulk. So, you know, I liked what that director did with the Incredible Hulk because he liked the Ang Lee version. You know what I mean? But he understood what Marvel were trying to do, so he kind of left the door open for those guys that liked that movie. In terms of X-Men and stuff, you know what? This is what I'd like to see, and I know it's not the popular version of this, because I'm an X-Men fan, and I've accepted the X-Men movies, always have, with the exception of X3 and Origins, but because of the events of Days of Future Past, X3 isn't, I don't think X3 is as bad as it was when I first saw it, because I remember when I walked into X-Men 3, I thought this was the final X-Men film, because Rothman was in charge of Fox at the time. He always didn't like the X-Men movies. He's always been a cunt to Bryan Singer and like the whole, you know what I mean, like kerfuffle about how X-Men's 1 to 3 were made, and it just, you know what I mean, like I thought that was it, but then obviously a change up in Fox and in the management and stuff, they ended up doing First Class, and First Class was amazing, but it was also, is this a reboot, or you know what I mean, like what is this? And they could have just rebooted X-Men right there and then on the spot, but they didn't, because Bryan Singer was back. You know what I mean? And with Days of Future Past, with the time travel stuff, they fixed it. They managed to fix, like X3 isn't a great movie at all. It's an average movie now. It was a dog shit one, but now they've managed to make it an average movie. You know, yeah, it's got its issues, but I can watch it now. It's watchable now, and it's consistent. The Days of Future Past has now made it consistent with that universe kind of thing. I think the X-Men movies where they are now, I do think a new director, just to change things up a little, so long as Singer's involved to keep it consistent with what has gone before, would be interesting. You know what I mean? Because you could tell, like with Apocalypse, where you know what I mean, like maybe it's time for a fresh approach, if you know what I mean, like because Apocalypse had its problems, but you know, at the same time I didn't think it was as bad as everyone else did. I still liked it. You know what I mean? I think it could have been better. I think it could have been a lot better. But I'm not going to cry about it. It didn't make me not enjoy the movie. Does that make sense? I thought it was okay. I've seen a lot worse movies, you know what I mean, and worse comic book movies than X-Men Apocalypse. Wolverine Origins being one of them. I've never been a fan of that movie ever. I fucking hate it. But that's now not part of any of the X-Men because of Days of Future Past. What I would like to see, I know it's not the popular belief here, Colin, Emerson, I personally think the way they left Apocalypse with the new team, you know what I mean, being the original team with Cyclops and Jean Grey and Storm, use those actors, continue the X-Men with those actors, keep it period in the 80s, but
they've already debunked that it's going to be set in the 90s.
Well, okay, in the 90s or whatever, but keep that cast, have them young, you know what I mean? But keep it a period kind of thing, and do however movies till their contracts run out there. But with the MCU, the cameos, have Kelsey Grammer back as Beast, but in the MCU, put him in the MCU films. Not an X-Men film, but, you know what I mean? Like, put him in the MCU, put James Marsden cameo in with Professor X, Patrick Stewart, who's game, because Patrick Stewart's gone on the record of saying as long as they want him, he will do it. You know what I mean? And that I'm cool with that. I mean, like with Wolverine will now be a cameo in the MCU rather than the full main guy. You know what I mean? They could still use Hugh Jackman, and in the fucking, you know what I mean, the younger films, they could cast someone else. You know what I mean? And or you know what, an even better thing, just don't put Wolverine in there at all, because we've done him to death for fucking 8 fucking movies. By the time, you know, the MCU comes to a point where it needs to reboot itself, we can recast all these fucks. You know what I mean? Like it's like, you know, that's how I would end the X the original X-Men guys by just having them cameo in the MCU to make you know that universe exists. Yeah, X-Men can carry on being its own series of films with what they've done in Apocalypse, and you know what I mean? And hell, if Marvel wanted to do an X-Men film, set in a contemporary setting with the Avengers and stuff, they could do that. You know what I mean? But with the older cast. You know what I mean? Because you could get Wolverine to cameo. He doesn't have to eat chicken and bulk up. He'll just wear a leather jacket and just show up. You know what I mean? Because at this point in his career with Wolverine, he probably would just want to just walk in for 2 days, do it, and get out. And that's all people want him to do. You know what I mean? People don't want him to be the star of the fucking X-Men, because there's so many fucking X-Men. They could do stories about fucking... You could do the stuff... Give Cyclops some fucking love, man. Just that's all I'm saying, man. Just, you know what I mean? You could have Iceman show up. You could do so much, man. You do so much, but that's how I'd integrate it without destroying what has come before from the X-Men and stuff, and just do it that way. As for Fantastic Four, Fox, just give that shit to fucking Marvel, man, because you guys had your 3 strikes. You guys are out. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that shit. But in terms of X-Men and with Legion and stuff and whatnot, I think that would be a really good way to go. And plus, look at Legion with the time traveling. Fuck, they could fix the Quicksilver problem.
Okay, so yeah, I guess we could talk about it for hours.
Yeah, we could.
Again, going into the next story, Captain Planet and Leonardo DiCaprio has expressed interest in. Well, he wants to get this film made, so he's producer on this project, and he's trying to get it made through Paramount. And
is he Captain Planet?
Yes, Captain Planet. Not to be Captain Planet, but to just get the film made.
Maybe he could be a bad guy.
And I don't know what this film would be about, because that's so 80s or early 90s. It's I don't know if it makes any sense to do something like that now, because this, as far as I'm concerned, this planet's screwed. But
you know what? If Donald loses the election, he should totally be in this movie. He should.
Captain Planet.
Yeah, he should.
That's who.
Oh no, as the bad guy doing this thing.
What, touching women
and
shooting black people,
and just being a cunt. No.
That would definitely be interesting.
Or get Alec Baldwin as Donald Trump.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my thoughts automatically went with this when I heard this story was Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle's Captain Planet,
yeah.
Which in my opinion is the best incarnation of Captain. Because if you were going to do it, it's the only way to do it, to make it. You know what I mean?
That's the only way I see it now.
Yeah. Look, no. But here's the thing, yeah. You know what? I think Captain Planet would have been better adapted as a comedy if they got Will Ferrell.
Yes. Yes.
Or Key and Peele, or like somebody, you know what I mean? Like, just do it as a straight up comedy. You know what I mean? Hell, do it with fucking Seth Rogen and fucking those guys. Have fucking Dave Franco as Captain Planet.
Nah, not Dave Franco. I can't see anyone else but Don Cheadle being Captain Planet.
Oh, okay. After those Funny or Die sketches.
That's even. I don't even think about the cartoon anymore. I just think about that. I'm going to turn you into a tree, motherfucker. That's just different.
Yeah.
That's so different. The Captain Planet is just angry.
Yeah.
And he just turns people into trees. That's brilliant.
But I mean, I don't know. I just think if they did it as a comedy kind of way, I'll be game for it, because you could have so much jokes. But I mean, if they're doing it like a serious kind of blockbuster thing, nah, I'm not really that inclined to go.
Yeah, what would be the plot?
Well,
how would you, if you're gonna okay, let's say that you Sacha Allari, is going to make.
You still didn't pronounce my name correctly, but anyway.
How do you pronounce your name?
Sacha.
Let's say Sacha Allari is going to make Captain Planet. What would you write? How would you write this, considering the state of the planet right now?
How would I write it? I would probably be. This is how I'd write Captain Planet. I'd set my computer and I'd write Act 1. What the fuck? Fade out.
Nice.
And then I'd go, I don't know how to write this movie. I don't know how to write this movie.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is what I mean. It's not really the easiest film to write at the moment. If this film came out in the 90s, I would have said, yeah, this is something. This has got hope in it. This is something that will inspire kids to try and keep the planet tidy or unpolluted. But yeah, we went past the point of no return a few months ago or something, of being able to bring the planet back to a state of balance. So,
sorry, grandkids, we just fucked you up. I'm not going to be here to see that, but hey.
Well, I'm not going to be an arse and bring children onto this planet. So, well, you probably got another 50 years left, so good luck with that.
Wow, there's a big petition online right now to, change the subject completely and back to one of the old ones, to get Quentin Tarantino to direct the Deadpool movie.
No, you wouldn't do it.
Never going to happen, guys. Never going to happen.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to do that at all.
I'll tell you what, though, if it said officially in the trades that was going to happen, I'd be like, what? I'd actually be like, what?
Well, yeah. That's good luck with that, guys, but,
but
you're dreaming.
Yeah, as much as I love Tarantino, I don't see him as the perfect fit for that.
No, I don't either. I would have said Daredevil, but not that.
Not that. I mean, like, I don't know. Unless he stayed consistent with, the other guy's aesthetic, maybe, but...
Yeah, he's just not that type of filmmaker.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Captain Planet and his Planeteers, directed by Quentin Tarantino.
I would say this: if if the Power Rangers does well,
yeah,
I think they'll be Paramount will greenlight this a lot easier than they would have in the past. So I'm guessing it banks on Captain Planet. No, not Captain Planet. The Power Rangers more than anything.
How the hell have they not done Thundercats?
They tried, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah, there's like this.
Oh yeah, that was like early 2000s. But I mean, you always hear about Masters of the Universe because that keeps coming around in the news feeds.
That's more plausible. How do you do something like Thundercats? You got
like Avatar.
I guess, but
that's how I would do it.
You need a visionary to do that.
I'd do it just like Avatar. Seriously, and doing it that way opens up the casting for all of them.
What studio is going to give you that money?
That is the $1 billion question. No one's going to give me money to make the Thundercats.
No, just anyone. Because that's a tricky story to do.
Maybe Disney. If you could convince them this could be a big sequel churning thing, but you know what I mean, because they took a chance on Jungle Book and it's paid off for them.
Yeah,
it paid off for them in spades. You know what I mean? Doing it mocap. You know.
Yeah.
In terms of I mean, Fox is where it's at with the mocap stuff to that degree, but that's only because of Cameron and he's untouchable. No other director could do what he did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, Spielberg could probably do it. Lucas could probably do it, even now, if he'd wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's certain directors that are that untouchable where they can do what they want. But for an up-and-coming director and go, I want to direct a Thundercats movie, I want to do it mocap, it's not going to happen.
No.
You know what I mean? Straight away. Not going to happen. But, I don't know, man. But I actually think if they did it mocap, it would probably work a lot better. You know what I mean? I think opens the realms for who you can get to be in the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd have Ving Rhames as Panthro.
I guess.
Because he doesn't have to look like Ving Rhames, but he'll have the voice, and he can, he can act like Panthro. You can act like Panthro. You can have Brad Pitt as Lino. Like that fake trailer. You know what I mean? Like that fake trailer and stuff that came out a few years back.
Yeah.
You could have that whole cast, you know what I mean, doing that shit. But I don't know, man. Back to Captain Planet. I've got nothing on Captain Planet, but I could talk Thundercats all day.
Well, with that, we'll go into the next segment, and that is okay. So AT&T acquired Warner Brothers for 85.4 billion.
Wow.
And that's a lot of money. A lot of money. If you put that into perspective, what Lucas sold Lucasfilm for, that's
chump change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 billion. Disney should be laughing.
Disney should have bought them.
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, they should have.
They don't have that much money. Well, actually, they do.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah, I'm sorry, Bob Iger, you have failed. You could have bought your competitors, had like Disney versus Warner Brothers crossovers galore, and you could have just you would have owned all superhero movies.
Yeah, but I don't think because AT&T are a completely different entity to what Disney are.
Yeah.
I think this is a better fit for Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
In the sense that they can still do what they do.
Yeah.
And still be competitive and stuff.
But does this mean more producers? Because obviously it's follow the money trail. How much are we spending on this movie? Does that make sense? Do you see where I'm coming from?
I know where you're coming from.
Yeah. Because does this mean more producers from, people within AT&T that are going to have creative decisions on some of the projects that are out?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Say if the Flash bombs, or let's say if Justice League bombs, and AT&T are like, how much did we spend on that money? You know what I mean? And then they're going to nitpick at everything. It's just food for thought, man. It's just food for thought.
That's up to...
Because they're coming in at a point now where there's a lot of locomotives leaving the station right now. You know what I mean? A lot of potential heavy hitters, and if a lot of those heavy hitters don't hit, you know what I mean? Someone from higher up is going to come down and fucking, you know what I mean? And these guys don't make movies, and that's more important. You know what I mean? Like Kevin Tsujihara does, who was the CEO at the time. He's probably no longer CEO now. I don't know what he's doing, but there's going to be a shake-up, and that's going to have an effect on how their movies get made to a degree, especially their big budgeted ones if they don't land the mark where they should do. So we'll have to see. At the moment, it's too premature to even really be talking about things, but you know what I mean?
I'd say for me, the thing that I'm most worried about with this is what I was reading on one of the articles about it is that that in the, I don't know when this will happen, but they'll stop producing stuff for consumer consumption.
Right.
So once that stops, they'll have that what Netflix do essentially. You have, hey, you want to watch one of our archive films or one of our films? Oh, you have to pay so months, so pounds a month to watch it.
Yeah.
And so once all the film companies figure this out, you will because what they're trying to do as well is end piracy, and the only way you can pirate is to have the entity in a physical form or something that is reachable online, and you can still do that from now. And once you have all these pay systems, then they can make as much money off anything they can forever, because people will have to continuously pay for the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's always been my issue with that.
With digital content.
Not so much digital content, just the paywall.
Yeah.
And you've got to pay for this for the month. You've got access to everything, but once you don't, then you don't. and so you have to commit to that thing that you have to pay for if you want to watch that. And because there's so many of them now, or they're starting, you've got Hulu, you've got Netflix, you've got Amazon, you've got HBO. There's so many of them now. What do you do? What do you continue to pay for all of these things, or so what I like doing, I like to purchase a film that I genuinely like, and they've given me that choice as a consumer to, hey, you can, if you like this film and you want it and you want to watch it anytime you want, you can just either download it or you can go to a brick and mortar store like HMV and go get it. It's yours. You don't have to pay for it again. It's there for you to watch. With this now, yeah, you can watch it, but you have to go through our paywall now, and that's what frightens me more than any of that crap, because they can continue to argue about whether a film gets green light or doesn't get green light till the cows come home. It doesn't really affect us directly. What affects us directly is how we consume that, and I think that's going to be a bigger issue.
Yeah.
Once all the other film studios start to become savvy on that, which I'm sure they are. Yeah, I think that's going to be a big issue for me, because I'm not going to do that. I don't really. The only reason why I'm on Amazon is because it's been given to me for free because of my Amazon account.
Yeah.
And so that's fine. If I had to put not doing it. No, I've got half the things that are in your library I own on my shelf. I'm not doing it. So why am I continuing to pay for that every month? No, not doing it, man.
Yeah.
So that's my main issue with this whole acquisition. Considering that, I mean, they acquire HBO as well. What will happen to all the HBO shows and stuff, and everything, all the subsidiaries of Time Warner? 'Cause that's New Line Cinema as well. That's the Lionsgate. That's so many companies under that umbrella will be eaten up by this acquisition. So, yeah. Okay, so that's the end of the main stories. On to Old But New, and this Old But New is another favourite of mine, and that is Enemy of the State, which was directed by Tony Scott and starred
Will Smith.
Will Smith and Gene Hackman.
And Jason Lee, briefly.
And and Jason Lee. And Gene Hackman, if you've never Gene Hackman's been off the screen for a while, so I'm guessing a lot of people don't know
who he is.
But Gene Hackman, I first caught wind of him in Superman, the 1978 Superman film with Christopher Reeves, and he took that character and made something special, and that's where I first got wind of Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman's one of these actors that he's from the 70s age of cinema, which was he's quite a gritty actor. He can be. He's an actor's actor.
Yeah.
An actor's character actor. He can you put him in anything and it just heightens the quality of the film. And no matter if that film's a bad film, I think the worst film I've ever seen him in is Behind Enemy Lines. And but the fact that he was in it and he elevated if anyone else played that role that he played in that film, it would have been a completely dog crap film.
Yeah.
But Gene Hackman, he's the guy's still alive, but he is such a good actor. He just makes you believe in the situation that's happening in that particular moment in the film, which is an actor's job. But a lot of actors, I would say, that would go for the roles that he went for wouldn't be able to do what he did. I mean, for goodness sake, you could arguably say there's no been on film. I'm going off the topic now, but
Yeah.
Going back to Enemy of the State, it's a brilliant film. It's one of Tony Scott's best films. Tony Scott is the reason why Hollywood films look like Hollywood films. He put that in stone. Ever since Top Gun, this is what a Hollywood film looks like. Yeah. Wow. It's very vibrant, very colourful, very it's got America written all over it, and he established that, and he happens to be British as well. Ridley Scott doesn't go for that same aesthetic, but the people that follow that same aesthetic is Ridley Scott and not Ridley Scott. What's his name? Michael Bay and I forget the director now who was like that. But anyway, the two other directors that follow the same aesthetic, and with Enemy of the State, it's a film about hacking and social. What is wrong with my brain today? What's that? It was about. I'm really doing a bad job on this. So hacking and privacy, what you could do, basically what's going on now, and this film was back in 1998. All the social norms that we think are normal now, back in the 1998, they were talking about this in this film where we'll be watched all the time. We'll be watched through the internet. We'll be listened to. All our rights would be taken away. That's what this film's about. And Jon Voight was in this film as well. And again, Jon Voight. I'll say no more about Jon Voight. He's a freaking brilliant actor as well. This is one of Tony Scott's best. If you've not seen it, I urge you to watch it, however you people watch films these days, and enjoy it for what it is. It's a brilliant film, one of Tony Scott's best. And from that, we go to the film's opening this week, and we've only got one film, and that film is Doctor Strange. And so I don't know much about this, but it looks trippy. I just heard the soundtrack, parts of the soundtrack the other day, and that soundtrack sounds like a Pink Floyd album. And considering just as much that I've seen with this, it looks like it's a cross between The Matrix and Inception. And that's all I can get from it, really. If going by the music is anything, you will appreciate this film on two levels. If you're drunk, high, or on a substance of some kind, or you can appreciate it normally. But yeah, this film looks awesome. Sach, are you looking forward to it?
Yeah. I mean, it's a new chapter in the MCU. I'm excited to see what they do with this. How Benedict Cumberbatch performs the character as well.
Benedict Cumberbatch, nice.
Cumberbatch, Lumbersnatch.
Cumbersnatch.
Cumberbatch. Him. I'll be interested to see how they go about it and stuff. It's definitely on my list. So yeah. So that comes out on Tuesday. They're not messing around. They want to get a really big weekend out of this. Yeah. And because Disney need money.
There's actually quite a few other films that are coming out on limited release this week, but I can't see them being in any of the cinemas that are around in London anyway. So that's why I've not talked about anything else but Doctor Strange, because this is the biggest release coming out this week, and this film's clearly going to crush. So I'm looking forward to it, man. This is going to be the
strangest week in cinema.
I didn't say that, folks. But it's gonna be very interesting, regardless, to say the least. So look out for that. Okay, and so film 20 questions. The dreaded film 20 questions. Okay, so Satch, here you go.
Oh, it's my turn to be the questions.
Through the weeks and months that I've tortured you with this game, I can see you don't like playing it, so
Yeah.
I'll let you do it to me.
Okay.
So, if people don't know how this game works, how it works is that Satch will write a film down on paper in front of him, and I have 20 questions of asking him questions about this said film to get the name of the film. All he can do is say yes or no. And so, can I start?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Does this film is this film set in the modern day?
This is a bit of a hard one.
It either is or it isn't. Is it set in the future, present, or past? Well, you can't answer that. Is it set in the future? Is it set in the future?
No.
Is it set in the past? I didn't regard this to be
okay. I'd say it's contemporary.
It's contemporary,
even though it's an older movie. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah.
Like back then, it was contemporary. I think it's aged okay. You can still watch it now. It was done. That's that. I was about to give like big clue to.
That's why just keep it to yes and
no.
no.
So yeah. That's.
Okay, so so that means it was a film set. This film was filmed in the. I'm gonna guess the 80s.
No.
70s.
No.
60s.
No.
50s.
No.
40s.
No.
90s.
No.
2000s.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's contemporary, and it's set in the. Man. Okay, so. So I have a famous director.
Yes.
Is the director still making films today?
Not. Yes and no. Like, he is, but not currently.
Okay. So is this director in jail?
No.
Sci-fi? Is it a sci-fi film?
It's got elements of sci-fi, but it's not a sci-fi film.
We should just call this vague 20 questions. Okay.
It has a genre, but it's not sci-fi. I wouldn't say it's sci-fi.
Is it comedy?
It's got comedy in it, but it's not comedy.
Does this film have sequels?
Yes, very much so.
Is it X-Men?
No.
How many questions have I got left?
14.
14?
14.
I should have less than that.
No, because you went through all the years you like. 50s.
Yeah, those are questions, man.
Huh?
Those are questions.
Yeah, so you said, is it set in the 80s? I was like, nope, so that was one.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got 14.
Oh, I thought I'd have less than that.
Oh, right, yeah.
I thought I'd have much less than that. Okay. Does this contemporary, so they're all driving vehicles of some sort, I'm guessing. Is it set in one room, or does it have one setting or multiple? Does it have multiple settings?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Ensemble cast?
Well, yeah. I'd say it's got a bit of an ensemble cast.
This film's set in the 2000s. The director may or may not be making films. It may or may not be a comedy. Yeah, I think I know what it is. Okay. No, I don't. I have no idea what it is. Does this film have any monsters in it?
No.
Does this film have any kind of time travel in it?
No.
Are there more than 5 films in the series?
It's been rebooted.
I can't think of what that is. Ghostbusters?
Nope.
Harry Potter?
Has Harry Potter been rebooted?
I don't know. I'm just saying films now because I don't know what the fuck this is.
Ask proper questions, man. You've got 5 more left.
I don't know what proper questions are because you've given me vague answers.
Okay, I'm going to give you a clue. It's just trying to think, because it's one of those things where one thing could give it completely away, or not at all. Okay, I would say it was an important. No shit, it's a.
Is it a 20th Century Fox film?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not Fox film. Okay. It's. So I don't want to be too vague, but I don't want to, because.
Don't give me a clue.
Okay.
Just I'm going to try and guess this. If I don't get it, just tell me what it is.
Okay, it's
I just said don't give me a clue.
Okay.
Okay, so going back. No, okay, it's been rebooted. What hasn't been rebooted these days?
Yeah.
And this is an ongoing film series, or has it stopped?
It's about a renaissance, yeah.
Isn't everything?
Yeah.
Star Wars?
No.
Indiana Jones?
Nope.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay. The female, no, the one of the leads does a lot of comedy movies now. He may not have done comedies back then.
Mm-hmm.
That's clue number 1. Clue number 2 is the main lead is Leonardo DiCaprio's best friend.
Okay, is this film... How many more do I have?
You have 2 more.
Does this film... Okay, so from gathered by what you said to me...
Third one, I'm going to get...
No. I didn't ask for it.
One. Okay, third one, A.K. Simmons is in it.
Who?
J.K. Simmons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Batman?
No.
Any horses in this film?
No.
Okay, so that was my last guess. Okay, so maybe Jack Reacher never go back.
What? It's only just come out, dude.
I know. I just don't know. I don't know what it is.
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Ah,
do you see what I mean? It's like it's got comedic elements in there. I mean, it's got a science fiction element, but I wouldn't call it a sci-fi. It's you know what I mean. I was waiting for you to say superhero genre, and like the reason why is it contemporary? Well, it was like 10 years ago, like more than 10 years ago now, and like it still holds up. But you know what I mean. And then J.K. Simmons. I was hoping J.K. Simmons would be the thing. And when I said it's been rebooted, well, it's the most rebooted franchise known to man now, I think, officially. And, like, you know what I mean? That's why I was like, it's far, you know. It's,
well, that's why I thought Batman, because I know he was in Batman, so...
Yeah, no, he's going to be in Batman.
Yeah.
He hasn't been in Batman yet. Right?
Okay, yeah. That's true,
so that's why when you said that, I was like, what?
That's the only thing... I was thinking in recent...
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
So I thought, okay, well, yeah. It's got to be Batman. And, yeah. Anyway,
sorry, man.
No,
but that's the thing with the director, because Sam Raimi, he's just stayed with Ash and Evil Dead. You know what I mean? He's got no projects lined up to direct, like movie wise.
Right, okay.
But do you know what I mean? He's not gone off radar. He's just doing his thing.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Sach. Thanks. That was actually a good game. So that's the end of the show, folks. Thank you, Sach. Thank you, all listeners. If you want to contact us at this podcast, you can write into podcast@zedosgang.co.uk and write anything you want, really. Even if it's a suggestion for the Game 20 questions, a film for us to guess, then feel free to give us a suggestion. Or alternatively, just say if there's anything that we said that is non-factual, or you know more about the subject than we do, then just write in and say that. Sach, where can we find you?
Sashman3 on Twitter.
And you can find me at Joseph Buchanan at Zedos.co.uk. Yeah, just write into the podcast and yeah, you'll get me. So that's the end of the show, folks. Next week, I think we may have a few more guests, but I cannot be sure if they bother to answer their phones or show up or do anything to communicate that they're alive. Guy, I'm talking about you. So, get your finger out your ass, man. And that's been the Zedos Game Podcast, and we're out.